Yo, what's up, guys? Good morning, good morning. Give me 1 second here while I post this in the chat. All right. NQ fully filled a Nubik opening gap that we talked about yesterday. Let me look at the daily chart real quick. Give me a second while I delete some lines here. Okay, so target on the daily, we have filled this gap, so we have to be very cautious here, right? Because there is a chance that we're going to come back down and retest this fair value gap and potentially this new week opening gap before going higher. Probably not going to happen that way. I'm guessing that we're going to maybe come down and touch this low on the daily. Yo, what's up, guys? Good morning. Oh, audio. Yo, can you guys hear me? Hello, hello. Yo, yo. Can you hear me? Okay, just making sure. All right. Sorry, my bad. My mic was all the way on the other side of the room. Not on the other side of the room, on the other side of the desk. So yeah, basically, guys, what I'm looking for here, because we balance this new week opening gap, I do potentially want to see a retracement. So we're on the high time frame, right? We're always on the high time frame analysis first. The daily chart, I want to potentially see a retracement into this daily gap. So that's what I'm expecting to potentially see here as far as like a short is concerned. The problem is it's a no news day, so realistically, we're probably not going to get anything really A+ that I'm going to take on a cash account. Maybe if it's really, really good, I'll take it funded, but we'll see. But yeah, what I'm thinking is that Asia at London low is probably a target today. And yeah, so we're going to look for some kind of inducement. We do have... Ooh. This actually, guys, looks... Wait, hold on. Are these perfectly equal? Close to it. So what I'm going to look for here is either... If this fails to the downside, I think this is probably going to be a good short. I've seen this type of setup happen before where we have like perfect equal highs or relative equal highs. Are these perfectly equal right here? No. Are these perfectly equal? Okay, so we do have a set of perfect equal highs right here. And this looks like it's liquidity. Morning, Charlie. So this looks like it's a liquidity sweep right here. We missed the highs. I think this is probably going to reject here. I mean, this is not really a setup, but if this ends up failing and we close below these lows, guys, I think that this is going to just dump. Again, it's not my model, but I've seen this happen before in the morning. So like the 930 to 940 candle tries to deliver us higher. It fails, and everybody who's trapped long up here gets smoked. Rachel, good morning. So that's the candle here that I'm looking. Like, if you want to take this short, guys, I wouldn't blame you. But my stop would be probably somewhere in this range, and I would be targeting this London low, this low as a partial. But to me, this looks like this was a failed move higher, missing the equal highs by a few ticks, and then I believe that this is going to take us lower here. And again, the objective or the thesis behind the trade is that we filled the new week opening gap, right? We filled it already. Whoa, and I'm looking for this daily fair value gap to get refilled. Right, that's the start of the fair value gap, so that's my target for the day. I hope that makes sense, guys. We also have perfect equal lows here that we missed from a while back. So I do think that those are probably going to hit at some point soon. Hopefully, we get a sweep higher first, though. So we'll see what we get here. But there's unfortunately no setup here to take, though I do again think this is going to work down to these lows today. And again, just remember guys, it is a no news day, so do not size up in my opinion, and do not trade on a cash account. That is my take on that. Again, do what you want with that information, obviously, but for me, that's what I would do. Anyone take any trades today already or no? Oh, whoops. Hold on 1 second, guys. All right, so I'm just looking here. This is like potentially a 2022 model. That was the short entry, right? A lot of people tried to long this fair value gap thinking it was going to inverse to go to the upside, but it failed. So to me, this looks like it's going to just keep failing here. Oh, Charlie, you're short SPY? Not a bad decision. Tesla having a pretty bad dump after yesterday. Anything performing well? Win is up 4%. Enphase is up 1%. What are the poorest performers today? Tesla down. Mara is down. How's Riot doing? Riot not performing as poorly as Mara for whatever reason. Okay, so let's look at the 15 quick, see if there's anything I notice. Hourly. Meh. 4 hour. So 4 hour filled its gap as well. We do have a 4 hour fair value gap here that I would also like to see filled. Okay, so I'll label that here. So objectively, guys, I'm looking for this low and then this low because it is the start of this fair value gap. So I hope that this like visually makes you guys understand what I'm looking for. Tim Waltz. Yeah. Tim Waltz is going to be happy about that. Yeah, you could look for an entry in the 30-second if you want, Kay. We do have new home sales at... Let's check a look quick. New home sales at 10 o'clock. So in 7 minutes. This can move the market. Normally it doesn't, but sometimes it can, just a forewarning. So I will probably wait until new home sales come out to consider taking a trade. But ooh, that's so interesting. So we swept a bunch of lows here, like a low that swept a low that swept a low, and we technically did just, we're about to inverse. So this is technically an upside entry here. I'm not a huge fan of it, but because we have an unbalanced fair value gap here, but this could easily work to this internal high. But this is not, I don't really like this structure, so I'm not going to take this personally, but you can if you want. Again, your stop to break even would have to be at this high, because if we just come up and are doing this to fill the remainder of this fair value gap, then you're going to get smoked. So you have to be careful with taking this entry. Did we form equal lows here? No. But this could work to continue higher here. I just don't like the fact that we've rebalanced the whole new week opening gap. We've left very, like whenever we leave perfect equal highs right at market open, guys, I get very suspicious. One of my biggest losing days ever was when we had perfect equal highs that formed right in the morning session. And the whole day, I was so confident. This was earlier in my career, but I was so confident that the equal highs would hit. And I kept trying to take every inverse for value gap, and every single one failed. And yeah, it was a bad day. So that was when I didn't have the ability to manage risk or cut my trading after two losses. So I'm always aware of it because I have PTSD when I see this flat first thing in the morning. So just a heads up, guys. But this could easily work. Again, this was the inverse entry right here. Stop to break even if you're in this. And now because this is fully rebalanced now, this could be the rejection spot. K's in this. Stop to break even. Very nice, K. So K is currently up if he's entered from here. Ugh, I can't do this because I have my new week opening gap. But about 15 points now. Okay, so now the second one looks like it's about to fill, and the target would be the equal highs. You could leave this for higher if you want, but I would personally try and maybe partial at the top of this new week opening gap, just in case we reject. At least take some off here. Especially if you're in from here, that's a pretty good amount of points. Nice, Kay. Good job. Great job, Kay. And whoever else is in this. This is probably going to go up to the equal highs, but again, I have PTSD, and I think we're going to get a rebalance, so... Let's look at ES real quick. ES behaving very similarly. But I would be super careful here, guys. Very interesting structure. Okay, so hold on one second, guys. I'm just posting the link here. Give me a sec. Okay, let me look at the... Oh, we're on the 1 minute. So again, nothing here that's telling me that structure's changing, but they're probably going to try and wick this down into the news, right? It's in 1 minute, less than 1 minute. What is going on here? So many notifications, bro. Why? All right, we got 30 seconds till the news. Would not be surprised again to see this stop people out who entered on the fair value gap here. So maybe to fill this little 1 minute volume imbalance and then go higher, or it could just go. But I would definitely have your stop to break even here if you entered on this candle. Right, this was the IFVG right here. Purple. So your entry was here. Unfortunately, the candle had moved much higher before the close. All right, so that was new home sales. Again, like I said, it's orange folder news, so the movement. Ooh. Okay, there's a sweep of liquidity. So I actually wouldn't mind looking for shorts here. If this wick holds, so we've swept the highs that formed in the pre-market session. We don't have to sweep this high. Let me see what ES did here. ES is a lot weaker than NQ. So I actually would not mind a short. If we can maybe inverse this 3. The 3 is actually right here, right? But because we have a secondary one, I'm just drawing them together. If we can inverse this, I think this will be a decent short. And my target would be that low that formed on the daily. Right there. So that's almost a 5-to-1 RR trade. This looks pretty good to me. And again, the thesis behind this is that we'll come up and rebalance this daily fair value gap before we hit the internal high. So I will see what happens here. But if we can get this, closes at 10:03, which is in 2 minutes. I don't think that's bad. Good job, Kay. Congrats to those of you guys who took the long. But yeah, if we can get a close below the 2 and the 3, this looks pretty good for shorts. In fact, I think this is just going to go. But let's see. And the target, this is a very interesting setup. Target, again, you would partial at low of day. So your first TP would be low of day. And then second TP would be this low. So let's see what happens here. I am watching the 2 because I want to see the 2-minute close below as well. That closes at the 4-minute mark. Because on the 1 minute after that, we don't have any fair value gaps. So I think this is going to dump here, guys, if I had to guess. Three-minute closes at 03, so we've got 30 seconds left. So let's see how this performs. Again, the 3-minute close is actually up here that we need to close above, but I want to see the 7:04 candle close too. So let me get rid of this new week opening gap so it's not confusing people. But you can see, guys, we've swept a bunch of liquidity to the upside. There's an objective daily fair value gap target, so that's what I'm aiming for. Okay, the 3-minute candle closed below. So this is technically an entry. However, I want to wait for the 2-minute just in case this wicks and holds. So we're going to be super cautious here. If you want to wait for a retracement, then you can. I think this is a pretty good setup. We didn't leave equal highs either, so this to me looks like it can be good. We got just 30 seconds till the candle close, so let's see if we get an entry even. But if we close here, guys, I'll probably wait for a retracement into this too to get a better RR on the trade. That's what I'm thinking. But if we just dump below the lows here, I still think this is a good entry. But the RR just gets worse, right? The RR would be somewhere here. So it becomes a 2-point something instead of a 6-point something. I think I'm going to wait for a retracement into the 2-minute gap, guys. Hopefully we get it. So I'm going to put a limit order right here. What? Ugh. What the heck? Hold on, guys. What just happened to my computer? Yeah, and there's an SMT with ES, right? One's making a higher low. I mean, a lower low, and one's making a higher low. All right, so that's the entry here in the 2-minute gap. Stop loss will be a 2-minute close or a 3-minute close back above the IFEG. And again, first take profit will be at low of day, and then second take profit will be all the way down at sell side. Uh-oh. So glad I waited for a retracement because now the RR is much better on the trade. But if the 2-minute ends up closing above, then I will have to cut it. Or the 3-minute, whichever one you prefer. I'm going to hold the trade and just in case it wicks, but the stop loss is going to be a... If you want to be risk averse, guys, you can cut this if the 2-minute closes above. I'm going to wait for the 3. And that closes at the 9-minute mark. If you guys are risk averse, guys, if we end up sweeping this low again, I would move my stop to break even. I think that's important. So this is technically a 2022 model short. I'm not a huge fan of taking 2022 model shorts, but I'm not taking it because of this. I'm taking it because of the liquidity sweep in the macro time and an obvious target below us. We've got 2 minutes till this close, 1 minute now. So if we close above on the 2 and the 3, then I'm going to have to cut this. If you guys want to cut it now because the 708 close just happened, you can. I'm waiting for the 3. I do still like the idea of us touching into midnight opening price. So I'm hoping for a rejection in this wick, maybe the mean threshold of it. We'll see. So hopefully this 3-minute doesn't close back above. We've got less than 30 seconds until the close. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to keep my stop here at the mean threshold, just above it. So that's a 3-minute close. If you guys want to cut your trade now, you can. I still think this has potential to go down. So I'm going to hold this to the mean threshold, just above it. So I'm reducing my risk, but I still think this has the potential to drop here. I don't mind taking a little bit more risk because I think that this wick will probably hold. But again, that's the definitely if this mean threshold gets closed above, I would definitely cut it. Okay, so if you want to enter on a position that's more likely to work, if this ends up dropping here and closing below these 2 1 minutes, that'll be a great sign. But till then, If you want to hold this on the 1 minute, then you can wait until that. Okay, so that's 8:30. Okay, so the mean threshold just got touched. Oh, and that was a stop out. All right, so that's probably my one trade on the day. If it ends up going here and then wicking down, that's going to suck, but it is what it is. There was an SMT at the lows too, so that's not the best sign. Right, you can see that NQ made a higher low and ES made a lower low. But that met all of my requirements. High time frame, target, equal highs got swept, and a liquidity sweep to the upside. Macro time, inverse IFEG. I mean, that all worked. So this, I mean, this could still work, right? This might just be a wick to try and stop out traders who are short, and then they drop it now. But if it works now, I mean, there's nothing I can do, right? Five-minute IFEG is holding price to the upside. 5-minute IFEG. I don't see a 5-minute IFEG. Oh, 5-minute FVG. I still don't see a 5-minute FVG. And so, guys, this is also why I say, I mean, this is a no news day, right? This theoretically should have worked. And because it didn't, I mean, again, I've told you guys already, it's no news day. So that for me was not a funded or cash account play. That was an eval play. So it's not that big of a deal, but still. Just want to show you guys what no news days kind of look like. Okay, so again, a failed IFEG. In my opinion, this is a great trade. But yeah, sometimes they lose. And again, especially because it's a no news day and we have GDP on Thursday and Friday. I mean, a lot of the times they won't deliver things cleanly until the big major red folder news. So just a heads up. Oops. There wasn't any equal highs here, right? I'm just making sure. Nope. No unfilled fair value gaps either. Very interesting. So it could be, guys, that they're just going to bring it up to this high here. Okay, and the reason I say that is because if you look at the 2-minute chart, we did inverse this fair value gap on this candle with an SMT at the lows. So this could be what ends up driving us higher here. Let's take a look at ES quick. No SMT here. So if you're in this 1 minute long, or 2 minute long, then your stop should be here to break even, right? But again, my bias was short, so I didn't even see this, but nonetheless, yeah, I just kept my stop at the mean threshold. But if you were in this if you looked at this 2 minute, then this would have been an excuse to cut the trade too early if you wanted to. There's a pretty decent looking 30-second IFEG right now to the downside, just a heads up. But nothing that I would take personally, especially because we already have a loss, so. And now the high time frame bias is probably bullish here, so. So there's a 30-second IFEG right here, and we're trading back up into it with this candle. So maybe this is inducement, and then we're gonna come down and sweep these lows again. We'll see. So what I'm expecting potentially now is a sweep of these lows down here, but who knows? If you're asking about this woman at IFVG right here, first of all, let me delete these lines so we don't get confused. This does not look A plus to me. Could this work? Sure, but not A plus. I'm up 59 on the day I did scalp a short. Nice, Robert. What was the setup? So I'm hoping that this ends up actually being a bearish gap that brings us lower here. But if this inverses to the upside, you can try this if you want with 1 micro or something, back to the high. It's not something I would take personally, but probably will work. If the bias really is bullish up to that daily high that I showed you guys earlier, then it'll probably work. There's no close above though, so just a heads up. See that? The body is holding right now. Nice, Robert. Good job. So we'll see if this ends up holding. Again, if you take this long when the monument closes above, you're gonna have a very tight stop. But it could work. And then, I mean, your target realistically would be high of day here. Okay, so no close above, no close below that 1 minute gap. So we have no idea what's going to happen here. Okay, so there is 30 seconds left of this candle close. $25, 5 seconds. So no close above once again, looks like. Yeah, so nothing you can take here, guys. Yeah, nothing here is clear to me. I mean, this is not a great spot to be in, for sure. Yeah, I mean, this was okay. There was an SMT, right? But the fact that the 3 minute inverse to the downside failed when my objective was the daily low tells me that there's probably going to be bad PA. Maybe what can happen, guys, is we get a sweep of that daily high, and then we look for a short to trade down into this daily fair value gap. That's possible too, but probably not going to take anything else today realistically after that. Yeah, I mean, I don't like, there's no unbalanced fair value gaps here either. Like what I'd want to see here potentially is like a very nice bullish fair value gap that a lot of traders will take long once it trades into it and then it just fails. But I don't see that here, so nothing here looks great to me, unfortunately. Even if this closes above, guys, I mean, is this a great setup to take? No, you can try it with a micro if you want, but this is such a small fair value gap, it just doesn't look great. And it looks like they're probably not even going to give an entry, but audio, it's back. What does that mean, Robert? Okay, so there's the sweep of the high of day. There was an entry there, but this is not good. Not good PA in my view. So I would not be entering that. The audio wasn't working for 20 seconds. Did anyone else? Did the audio stop working for anyone else? I guess no one else can hear me. The question was, did the audio stop working for anyone else, or was it just Warriors for Yeshua? Oh, you're good, Kay? All right. So maybe it was just you, Robert. All right. Awesome, guys. So, yeah, I mean, basically what happened there again, my bias was bearish intraday. We closed below the inverse for value gaps. That was the entry. I waited for retracement just to reduce risk in case I was wrong. And we got the retracement, and I moved my stop to the mean threshold of this wick. And unfortunately got stopped out, and it ended up being a bullish bias at the high of day. Because of that, I mean, I'm guessing that the daily high is going to hit today. And that we're not gonna get a retracement into this daily gap yet, but trade of 8 is down today. No way, I didn't know that. Yeah, Robert, it must be that Kentucky microphones or something. Your Kentucky speakers. We don't have that problem in Los Angeles. All right, so 1 minute inverse potentially to the downside here. Again, is this A plus now? No, I was wrong about my bias, and it looks like the daily's gonna hit. Trade of 8 through Trading View. I'm not on any fundeds or cash, so to me it's fine. Just on an eval. All right, so there's technically a 1 minute inverse short here. Again, would I take this? Personally, no, it's not A plus enough, but we're probably going to go back down to this low. Oh, Kansas, sorry. My bad, bro. And so if you're in this short, guys, again, I don't think this is A plus at all. But you could take this right now, stop to break even at this low, and you just hold this all the way down. If the bias still is bearish now after the high was swept. There is an SMT with ES, right? ES took its high of day, and NQ took its high of day, and ES did not. So there technically is an SMT here. They're the same thing, Robert. I don't care. The terminology doesn't matter to me. It's just taking liquidity. It could be, you can call it a run, you can call it a sweep, you can call it a beep if you want. You can call it a liquidity sheep. It doesn't matter to me. Liquidity raid, some people call it liquidity run, liquidity sweep, liquidity stop. Words mean nothing. It's all about the visuals, right? Stop hunt, exactly. Stop raid, whatever. ICT calls it so many different things. And he'll try and argue with you. He'd probably say, oh no, there's a difference between a liquidity run and a liquidity sweep. I'm mysterious and I know the difference between them. But, I mean, maybe he has a different term for different types of runs or different types of sweeps. I don't know. But for me, a liquidity sweep is a liquidity sweep. So run. I don't think so, Robert. Because if it's a liquidity run, I don't know. If it's a liquidity run, when you use the term liquidity, you're kind of referring to it taking out liquidity to reverse. So a liquidity run is just a breakout. I wouldn't call it a liquidity run because there's liquidity resting above, so it's not really a liquidity run, right? Because the market continues. Tiny set of 1 minute IFEGs here, but again, guys, because the first thing failed, my bias is probably wrong here. None of this PA looks great to me. So if this 1 minute inverses, if you guys want to try it, if you're bullish, let me look at this. No SMT here. If you're bullish, you could try a long here to the high. I personally don't like it, but you could if you want. Stop to break even at the high of day and then just hold it up to the buy side. Should we try this for the fun of it? I'm not taking it on eval. I'll take it on a paper account. Okay, we'll take it on a paper and see if it works. I doubt it's going to work, but we're coming close to a macro time. This would be your stop to break even, which is high of day. Yeah, it's paper. We'll do it for fun. But this is not a real trade, not even on an eval. I don't like it personally, but if it works, it works. So the stop to break even is going to be at high of day, obviously. If you want, you can leave it at the fair value gap just in case it comes down and stops you out first, but it's totally up to you. So I haven't released my mouse, my finger off the trigger, right? I'd only do it if we get to that stop to break even. Again, guys, I would never take this unless I was so clear on the bias. And yes, there is a daily high here, but we could easily not sweep this today because the GDP news comes out on Thursday. That's when the main mover is going to happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just fake people out on these types of days. But we'll see. We will see. Okay, so there's the high of day. So your stop would be to break even now, and you could hold this all the way up. So I will let you know there is a monthly level above us on QQQ. Not quite. We were about $1 away from it. So I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if we get some kind of reversal before the highs. So like I would probably book some profits close to the daily highs just in case we reverse. By the way, for you guys that are watching this stream, if somebody's talking about like Delta or anything else, I don't use any of that stuff. So don't get confused. You guys can use whatever model you want, but that's just not what I don't, that doesn't concern me. If you hear like Delta or nodes or support and resistance or anything of that sort, that's not what I use. Sometimes I'll use the terminology support and resistance like as using a fair value gap as support, but like the traditional sense of support and resistance I don't use. Let's say you take this on eval and it goes up $1,000 and reverses to break even. How does that work in an eval with trailing drawdown? Well, it works the same way. So like if depends on what your highest level is on your eval. So like let's say it's a 50K account and you're currently up at 51,000, right? And now you can't lose like 51,000 is the highest you've ever made. If you now take the account to 52,000, your trailing drawdown goes up by $1,000. So if your trailing drawdown was set at 49,000 when you got it to the $51,000, now it's going to be a $50,000 trailing drawdown, and you got the account to 52, and now that it's going back to 51, now you only have $1,000 of what's it called? $1,000 of cushion. So it's pretty much like the highest amount you've ever made in the account. Every dollar you make over the highest amount moves that trailing drawdown up a dollar. Okay, so I'm not going to book profits at the daily highs, guys. I'm going to do it beforehand. And what I'm looking at on QQQ, this is again my system, but there is a quarterly level at 493.70 that I think we'll come close to. So somewhere around this area, I'll put this on the half side of the screen so you guys can see it. But somewhere, like I'm going to be watching this, and when we get close to this blue line, I'm going to be taking profits if we do get it. Yeah, prop firms are they make it very tough. What I like about Apex, though, I don't know if other prop firms do it, but once you reach like 52,600 or 53,000 something, the trailing drawdown stops once you get a funded account. So he got out at break even though, so he didn't make anything on the trade. Who, Evan? No, like if you're saying like if you make $1,000, even if you get stopped at break even, Evan, if you're up $1,000, the trailing drawdown moves up $1,000. Even if you get stopped out at break even, your trailing drawdown still goes up because on paper you made $1,000. That's why prop firms are so tough. So you guys see how I'm waiting for the QQQ level to hit the blue line. So somewhere around like 493.60 on QQQ, I'll book profits on this. So it's in conjunction with NQ, because I think that there's a possibility that they leave the daily gap, mess with people before GDP on Thursday. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, Evan. So I'm looking to see here is like a little consolidation and a big pump. Maybe like I want to see like a green candle that gets somewhere up to here, and then they're going to stop it out and then dump the market. That's what I'm expecting to see here because it's GDP. I think they'll leave the daily high. GDP this week, I think they'll leave the daily high. I could be wrong, but because of this, I'm looking for something like inducement to book profits while everyone's trying to long right before the daily high. So we'll see what we get. You trade IFEG alone, IFEG along with discount and premium and fair value gaps? Yeah. Premium and discount and then inverse fair value gaps combined with liquidity, and then obviously my own system. I do sometimes use order blocks or breaker blocks if the bias is, I'm super clear on the bias, but it's just confluence. It's not the model, not the main model, if that makes sense. So I just pinned the Discord for you guys who want to join. Tomorrow is going to be YouTube, but the main days of the week, the best days to trade, in my opinion, GDP and I keep forgetting what it is on Friday. GDP and PCE will be in the Discord. Okay, so I'm hoping to see like a nice green candle here. Something that will pop us. And again, I want to get close to this blue line. It could hit easily today, but sometimes what they'll do is they'll bring it very close to a quarterly level and then they'll stop it. Or a monthly level. Sorry, this is a monthly level. So normally they don't bring it this far away and then reject it. So normally it's going to go up more, and I think it still will, but we'll see what happens. Again, I'm not going to take profits at the monthly level. I'm going to take it right before. So that's why you see the daily high here. I'm not taking it just there. I'm taking it below it. Yeah, that's not, no, unfortunately, Evan, it's not like that. They make it very tough. Because the idea is that, like, you had the profits, but you didn't end up booking the profits. So they want to see that you're taking profits too, not just holding for zero or hero. That's the idea behind it. But in reality, it's more so it makes the account a lot more difficult to pass. And that's the reason they do it. Because at the end of the day, guys, if you're managing risk, right, if your stop is at break even, then they should be fine with that, right? You're moving your stops to break even, you're protecting your existing capital. But they kind of pretend basically that they're giving you an excuse as to why they're making the account more difficult to pass. Okay, so we just traded back into this 1 minute order block. They could bring the market all the way back down to the stop to break even, or the internal high that we hit, but I'm guessing they'll bring it up one more time. And then if they're going to dump it, they'll do it then. But we'll see. So I think they're going to sweep the high of day. And then again, I want to see a push up here. Come close to this weekly level, monthly level, sorry. Okay, nice. Let's see if we get our profits here. I think it'd be a good idea to move us down to this right here. So it's either 715 or 850. Let's see. So I would move my profits up there if I were you guys, because we just swept high of day. And I'd rather just see a clean delivery from here. Keep moving it higher if you want. All right, so there's the TP. So not the best setup in the world, in my opinion. There was no liquidity sweep. There wasn't even an SMT with ES. But if you really believe that the daily high is the target today, which it could easily be, again, my flaw, I guess the flaw in my thinking today was that I thought we would rebalance this daily gap before touching the internal high. And because of that bias, I took that 3-minute short that failed. But you guys can see if your bias is bullish, guys, you don't need a liquidity sweep and you don't need an SMT. It helps, but nonetheless, this was a pretty decent setup, which is why I took it on paper to show you, but it wasn't A+ enough in my view, especially because my bias was still bearish, so it was hard for me to take this inverse. But you can see that your stop to break even was clean and it delivered where it needed to go. Again, this model helps me determine whether there's going to be reversals sometimes before. So like if we have a daily high, okay, and it lines up with this weekly liquidity level here, or level on QQQ, what I'll do is normally book profits close to the high, especially if we get a high of day sweep. And then, yeah, I'll hold runners, but sometimes what they'll do is they'll bring it close to here and close to a daily high and they'll reverse the markets, especially when there's big news the days afterwards. So like there's GDP on Thursday. So sometimes they don't deliver the market cleanly up to the targets that you're looking for. Oh, so that's pretty much it, I think, for the day. What else is how is HIMS doing today? I haven't even checked my portfolios. Ooh. So we had a very strong push on HIMS yesterday. I know you guys said, I saw in the live stream, I booked a portion of my profits at 37.75 or 37.68. And I'm going to be holding the rest. I think there's there's a possibility that we retrace back down and we fill a little bit more, maybe sweep more liquidity. But ultimately, like this gap fill is a target for me on HIMS. So this 48.14 level and then potentially this gap here. So the body of this candle is a good target. The 53 level. How's AMD doing today? Let me check this out. AMD closed above its daily IFEG. So if it was me, I'd probably look for a little bit of a retracement here, like maybe to the 111 area. But I think this is going to be a good swing. And we have a lot of buy-side liquidity above us. But to me now, this is a change in the state of delivery. I do want to see the weekly close above this inverse as well. But to me, if this weekly candle closes up here or above this weekly fair value gap, AMD is going to have a huge pump. And I think 131 is in the possibility, in the realm of possibility. So that's a good one too if you guys are looking for swings. RETO down 21%. Who told me about this stock? Wow, this is a pump and dump. I'm deleting this off my charts. That's a stupid chart. Wow, Target getting smoked. Why did I not get an alert on Target when we swept liquidity? Oh my god. That is so annoying. I put an alert for this and it never alerted me. Maybe it was in the aftermarket session. Oof, this is a good long-term add on Target. CrowdStrike up 3%, Sprouts up 2%. Ooh. So we didn't sweep the daily high yet, but we did get a 1 minute inverse here, which tells me we're probably going to retrace to the 50% of this leg. I would not be surprised, guys, if this ends up dumping here. So because this inverse, well, we did close below it and then back above it and back below it, but I think this is coming to the mean threshold here. I think this low is going to get swept. Yeah, this looks really good for downside. This looks really good. You guys see how immediately when I look at the charts, like I go to something else and I come back and I can see when things look good. So if you're in this from this leg of price, guys, I would have my stop at break even. Because we could wick back, but if this is going to dump, this should not even come back to this candle's high. This body should hold. So if you're in this short, definitely your stop should be at break even or at the body high there. All right. Bad PA, good profit. That's always fun. So there's another 1 minute IFEG here. Again, this is not something I would take. Could it work to the upside here? Sure, but okay, the fact that we're closing above inverses and then below them and then above them and then below them tells me that price action is behaving pretty poorly here. That's what Kay pointed out just now. You can see that we're retesting that IFEG. Maybe this is what actually ends up delivering us down here. I don't know. But I would not be a part of this personally. Damn, Bitcoin's at 88 again. I can't wait to look back at these streams in like 3 or 4 years to see where Bitcoin's at. Imagine if Bitcoin's at 444,000. What do you guys think about that? You think it's possible? Who here thinks Bitcoin, it's possible that Bitcoin hits 444,000 in the next 5 years? Type 1 if you think yes, type 2 if you think no. Evan Lucas says 1K. Nope. Rachel, no. Wow, nobody's a believer in Bitcoin, huh? At least Evan is. So I was buying Bitcoin. I know you guys probably know this. Warriors for Yeshua believes 1. So I'm going to show you guys something real quick in the Discord. Where was it? I think it was under long term. Was it? Let's see here. This it? All right, so this was an alert that I gave to the Discord on July 4th, the 4th of July. Heads up, everyone. Bitcoin just took out major sell-side liquidity on the daily weekly. I just started my first DCA of the year. So I added a very sizable position, Bitcoin below 54. And then later on, I'll have to find it, but we added in the 51 area as well. But I was telling a lot of people that Bitcoin was going to 100. I mean, a lot of people thought that, but a lot of people did not believe. And we had a very nice buy. That was up like 100 and something percent. Okay, so this inverse is working to the upside right now. Very small, but again, on a bullish day, a lot of the times these inverses will work, but this is not PA would ever want to be a part of. But yeah, I think eventually one day that Bitcoin will be worth 500,000 a coin, maybe a million. I think it's possible for sure. I mean, listen, I never invest more than 7% of my net worth into crypto. And the only crypto investment I have anymore is Bitcoin. But yeah, if it ends up growing past, I mean, it's well beyond 7% of my portfolio now. Just for risk management, Kay, because if crypto ends up failing or something happens, then I don't want to be putting all of my money into something. I never do I never keep more than 20% of my portfolios in any individual sector or stock. And I never keep crypto more than 7%. Did you just post a short or oaf? No. Is somebody what? Wait, a short on YouTube or a short in the stock market? On YouTube, I post a short, like I have them set to post every 2 days. I thought you were saying like somebody was in the Discord mimicking me or something, imitating me. And posting in the callouts. I thought I got hacked for a second. Oh yeah. No, I normally no, I don't I post at 5:30 Eastern. 5:30 Pacific every other day for a YouTube short. Bum 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 bum. Okay, so there is a little 1 minute IFEG here. But I don't know if this is gonna work, but we do have that daily high, so I would never take this, right? Yeah. Guys don't scare me like that. Don't want to have to clear my whole Discord and reset it with WAP and everything. It'll be so annoying. Okay, so there was just a 30. No, actually, never mind. Didn't close above. Oh, my back just spasmed. Damn. I'm getting old. All right, so I mean, guys, we're pretty much at the daily objective here, right? Unfortunately, I was wrong about the retracement into the daily gap. And it looks like we're going to hit this daily high. Again, we could reverse before hitting it. So like what they could do, because it's GDP today, or GDP this week, or if you ever see like a very important news event later in the week and we're very close to a objective on the higher time frames, a lot of the times they'll just dump the market right before it to create liquidity and then take it out during GDP. So I would not be surprised if this ends up failing, but you can see here we did get a 1 minute short and then it closed back above. Now we're probably going to close back below. Do not want to be part of this PA, and I already knew I didn't want to be a part of this PA as soon as this happened, right? This inverse closed below, then closed above, then closed below, then closed above. This is consolidation. I don't want to be a part of this. And yeah, so I hope you guys learned something today. I hope you understood what I was looking at as far as like daily objectives, and you can see that I was wrong on the daily objective. And so unfortunately, your inverse trades will not work or they normally do not work if you have an objective bias wrong. So it is what it is, and then you know that we took that 1 minute short on paper. I mean that 1 minute long on paper here, and that ended up being a successful trade. But again, because it went against my bias and because I had already lost on the day, there was no need to take it. But again, today was eval because there was no news that was worthy of trading. And yeah, so I wish you guys the best. If I see something A+, maybe we take out list liquidity and I see an A+ IFEG, I will call it in the live alert section. For those of you guys who are in the Discord, you get all of my long-term ads, option selling, swing trading, live alerts. I do a market overview almost every single week. Books, education, the economic calendar every week, yada, yada, yada. But the live alerts section is where I will post the call-outs if I see anything. But I wish you guys the best. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow on YouTube. Thursday and Friday are going to be in the Discord for the A+ data setups at 8:30 in the morning. So yeah. All right, guys, have a good one. Appreciate your time.